Let's do it.
I love it. Go.
All set?
Go.
Ready?
Ready.
All right. Hello, I'm Mark Morales. I'm an inker for Marvel, DC, Image, and other places. I've worked on the X-Men, Daredevil, Spider-Man, Batman, Invincible, Avengers, and I'm forgetting some. You're watching Splash Pages.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Is the one obvious thing.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for, and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, I hit the wrong button here. Happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages. My name's Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have an amazing show scheduled for you, as always. I can't wait to get to our guests. It's going to be awesome. But without further ado, Carrie, how's it going?
Going pretty good. I am in Nebraska, and we are in a blizzard warning, and it is snowing outside, and people are losing power all around me. So Ratatosker and I, well, like we need an excuse, have got our bourbon ready to go. If I lose power, I will do my best to try to get back with hotspots and batteries and things. But should something happen, I guess you'll just have to deal with it and catch me later. Hey, Tom Dog, hope everything's going good for you. But enough about me. Let's go over to Drew so he can tell us about how he's doing and introduce our guest for the night.
Yes, hello, Carrie. Yes, the winter is still upon us, but don't worry, daylight saving time is coming up. Hey, everybody. Grab your glasses. It's Tuesday, everybody, which means it's Splash Pages, and depending on the Tuesday you've had, it might be Smash Pages. Who knows? So, yes, like my lovely co-hosts who are about to drive me crazy say, we got a great show. And we have a spectacular guest, someone who, if you read comics, you've probably seen his work, and you might not even have realized it. And that's unfortunate because he's a super duper guy. As he said, he's worked on a ton of projects for a multitude. Yes, multitude means a lot. Creators and companies and whatnot. He's superb, super nice. It was just great even chatting with him before we started the show. But why not talk to him face to face? Everybody, the great, the awesome inker creator, Mr. Mark Morales.
Woohoo!
Hello.
Thank you for joining us,
funny.
Mark.
It's funny. I was looking at the little bit you have before the show and there's like a clip of Jim Steranko and Stan Lee and a bunch of guys on stage. I was on that stage. I was there for that. I was on the stage there with a bunch of Marvel creators. They dragged up there for that. I was like off to the corner. And Alan Bellman, like the 1940s Captain America artist who says something in the clip, he was spouting political slogans up there, which made me sort of shake my head. But whatever.
We interviewed him, and he was definitely getting very political.
And him and
funny thing is, we were actually the only media outlet to record that. So if you want any of the footage from it, just let me know.
It was weird. It's like I was there. I was actually there. Crazy.
Hey, we can see, well, Leo and I at least can see everybody's reactions as they're going through things on the bottom of the screen. So I saw you like, noticing that and be like,
it's weird. It's like the Zapruder film, and I was there.
Right.
What's sad about that though is so I had recording through the camera, but I also had a recording audio device up at Stanley's chair, and there was a contest going on, and a tattoo artist, I can't remember who it was, but they were kind of not rude, but very, it's hard to explain. They weren't nice to stand. It was
kind of rushing him, kind of just like
no, like treating him like a little kid. It's
condescending.
That was what year was that again? What convention was that, and what year was that again?
Rhode Island Comic Con.
Yeah, it was 2016, I guess, right?
2016, I think. Yeah, it was.
Like I said, political year. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of his last appearances, I believe. Also.
Nice. Yeah. Good times. Well, speaking of behind the scenes, Mark, I mean, I got to say, man, what haven't you worked on? Because, I was looking through your credits, and I was like, my God, he's just been everywhere. This man's a new Hansel. He's so hot right now. Like, damn.
I got bills, man. I got bills.
I know, but
this mortgage is paying for itself.
There you go. So
I live in Nebraska. Cheap here. Nobody.
But we also have a 10-year-old that's eating us out of house and home. So a 10-year-old.
Oh boy.
Too, so.
Yeah. So how did it start? Like how did comics start for you in terms of both your favorites and then getting into the industry?
So comics are weird. I mean, my parents told me I learned how to read by like reading the newspaper strips, like Peanuts or whatever. And when I was like 5 years old, I distinctly remember going to my brother was like a counselor at a sleepaway camp. He's like much older. He's like 13 or 14 years older. And I'm like 6 or 7. They put me in a corner while they went to get him. And there was like a stack of comic books there, and I had never seen one before. And I picked them up and I'm like, what is this magic? It was like, ooh. They gave me an Iron Fist comic. It's Marvel Premiere number 25. And I still have a copy of it with fighting the Warbird. And I was like, wow, this is great. So I was like, can I get more of this? And back then the comics were like a quarter or 30 cents. So it was easy for my father to pick up like 4 for $1 or whatever and just bring them home. And what I liked about it a lot was that back then, in the 70s at least, they were reprinting a lot of stuff along with the new stuff. So, and he was just picking up stuff randomly, so he didn't know what he was getting. So he'd pick up a new issue of the Avengers, but then there'd be an issue of Marvel Triple Action that was like an old Avengers from the 60s. So I knew there was like a bigger story, but I wanted to fill in the gaps and see what, how these characters evolved or whatever. And I was hooked. It was heroin at that point. And then I just kept at it, started drawing my own comics, and eventually made a career out of it.
Hey, listen, it's it is what it is. But
go
there.
Speaking of career, I saw some of the people that you trained under. You went to New York Visual Arts, was it?
I'm School of Visual Arts in New York City. So after high school, you get to the point where you have to decide what you want to do, and it was either psychology or this. And I learned that it was 8 years of psychology, and I couldn't take school for 8 more years. So I put my portfolio together, and I applied to School of Visual Arts. I applied to one in California, and I applied to the Kubert School in New Jersey. Kubert School was just way out in the boondocks. I didn't want to bother with that one. California was just too expensive, so New York it was. I grew up in Long Island, so it was like a commute in. And I had I had Will Eisner, Harvey Kurtzman, Gene Colan, Carmine Infantino, and Joe Orlando. So like the old guard, like the golden age to silver age artists. So yeah, it was pretty good learning. I mean, a lot of those guys were older at the time, so some of them didn't have the energy they used to when they were younger. Like Harvey Kurtzman, I think sadly passed away like in between my second and third year. But like some of them, like Will Eisner, were great. Will would fly in every other week to teach, actually from Florida. Yeah, and I did my first, I guess, professional comic assignment for him, inking him on a Spirit thing. That they were reprinting the Spirit stories in the 90s and the 80s and 90s, and he lived in Florida, like I said, and there was a flood. And some of the original art got damaged, so they wanted to go in and redo some of it. So I got to ink him on like 4 or 5 pages. So didn't pay much, but I have a letter with his letterhead and everything. So,
Wow, that's freaking awesome.
That's one of those where
when I got out of school, nobody could tell me I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, I mean, somebody like, do it for the publicity. No, I want paid. But with that one, at the point in your life, it's like, I'll do this for a little bit, and
it's a good story. It's a good story.
Cred. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, those are just pillars of the industry. So, man, kudos to you, man.
I do have a question.
A good timing thing.
We've spoken in general to a lot of different artists, and outside of things like the Kubert School and where you went, and stuff, which are comic driven schools of art, a lot of people say, because a lot of artists that I've spoken to are like, don't waste your time going to art school. Like if you're going to a university, a local university, and taking their fine arts programs or something like that, they're just like, that's not going to help you in the comic book industry that much. Really.
I would agree, because when I went was like, I went there and started in 87 and got out in 91, and this is pre-internet. So and I'm a person that if I want to do something, I have to learn from seeing it being done, and the only way you could really do it back then was going to art school. Now with the internet, there's so many different tutorials on YouTube and this, that, and the other. I mean, and art school is so expensive, because when I left, it was like $10,000, which is a lot back then. Now it's like 55,000 or more. So there's no need to go into that kind of crazy debt to draw comic books, because you're not going to make that much money at the beginning, if ever. So I would suggest really just, like I said, community college, just take some life drawing classes at home, and everything else you can pretty much find a course online. I did a thing from Marvel and this company called Proco a couple of years ago, where it's basically they got a bunch of writers and artists and letters and inkers and everything, and they gave you a tutorial on, I sat there for like 3 days just explaining everything, and you can get that course online for like $400, which is way better than going to art school, and it's more specific for what you're looking for. So, yeah, I mean, you don't, as I said in comics, they'd hire Charles Manson if you can make a deadline. They don't care. It's like your degree means nothing. It's if you can draw.
It's awesome that you were part of that and contributed to it, because you're fabulous at what you do. So, thank you for having that out there. Because I know, like, I'm probably going to suggest that now to my nephew and a couple of other people who are doing some stuff.
It was very well done. It was very well done. They do like all types of art tutorials, but for this, they partnered with Marvel specifically to break down how to do a comic book, and it was very thorough.
Okay.
I was watching a clip of that actually before today's show, and your detail is just friggin' amazing. Absolutely love it. And
thank you.
Carrie, you might want to check it out, because the one that showed up afterwards was also Dean Haspiel.
Oh, Leo, I love Dean.
Leo, you're got a compliment. You're the most handsome guy in the biz from Matthew Fisher.
Matthew's crushing on you there, Leo.
Some compliments.
Yeah, Matt, get your eyes checked.
Yeah, he might need to go to a different optometrist. You're handsome, buddy. Megan loves you.
Matt's awesome though. Matt's been watching us for a long time.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you, buddy. Well, speaking of style, Mark, again, there are quite a few inkers in comics and over time and whatnot. And I'm sure you're friends with quite a few, whereas you guys probably collaborate a lot. Like, is there like a inking code, like thou shalt not work on the same book or crimp each other's style? Like, is like.
Well, it's different now. They're with honestly the rates that they pay a lot now. A lot of the pencilers are going off and inking it themselves. So there's much fewer inkers than there used to be. When I started back in the 90s, every book had an inker, pretty much. But so many artists now are doing it themselves. And, technology has changed. You can do it digitally now yourself. So I wouldn't say inking is like the Titanic, but it's like the Titanic. It's like there's not as many jobs as there used to be for it. So for a person that's a dedicated inker, really. So if you've noticed, if you look at 50 Marvel books, I'd say more than half of them were probably inked by the penciler. So there's not that as many dedicated inker jobs anymore. So I wouldn't say we have the last of a dying breed, but it should be sinking slowly. Just got to get a few more years out of it before I get too old to do it anymore.
Right.
Now, do you personally? Oh, sorry, Drew. Go ahead.
No. I didn't have anything to say, Gary. You go. I'll just clear my throat.
Oh,
you go.
I was going to ask, do you prefer working with brushes, pens, the marker type things, or do you prefer digital, or do you do? Does it depend on what you're working on?
It depends to a point. But when I first started, it was pretty much everything was with brush. I was trying to get that Mark Farmer feel to stuff. Image at Top Cow and Stream, and they wanted more of that, harder edged, like Scott Williams feel to the inks, where like a lot of jagged lines and everything. It was much easier to do with a nib. And there was, strangely, in like the mid 2000s, there was a trade war, which like that could never happen, where the sable fur that they make the tariff thing or something, and it was really, really expensive to get brushes. So at that point, I just went to using nibs and just sort of stuck with it from that point. As for digital, I can do it to a point, but at the end of the day, I like having an original page. I'm old. I like having original pages. I collect original pages, and you can sell original pages. You can't sell anything digitally, and that is a decent part of my income yearly.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
And I'm old. I don't like technology. But.
Nah, that's fine.
No, I love learning all this kind of stuff. I'm always quick. I'm like driving all the technical questions. Everybody's like, you did really good on this. I'm like, so do you use the nib, and what kind do you use? What's your brush? What do you do?
It's all interesting. This is what I would ask somebody when I met him too. Yeah.
No, well,
do you have your pages? Sorry.
And it's also amazing.
Book of them right here, actually. Just.
Oh wow!
Let's zoom in there, Lou.
That's gorgeous.
I'll bring them up as we go along.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Leo, no.
Okay.
We missed it.
I was asking.
And on top of it, Mark, if you follow you on social media, you'll have like your tutorial, not tutorials, you'll have videos of you inking like something from like Adam Kubert or Mark Bagley, and it's just watching the process. You're inking these greats, and I'm just like, wow, like you're inking a Bagley or a Kubert or anyone else you've collaborated. I'm just like, man, that just must feel like the coolest thing in the world. You're just taking this image that's already great and you're just making it pop even more.
That's the plan. At least it works out most times. But yeah, but like I said, that also fits into the thing you were asking about the schools. It's like when I went to school, there was an Instagram. I mean, there's guys on Instagram that are basically showing you all their tricks too. So would you pay to go to do that now? I don't know if you have to when Instagram's free at the moment.
Right. Yeah. So again, working on things like, do you ever how do you feel when you realize, like, oh my God, this project is like a bestseller, going through like multiple print? I mean, you've worked on some big projects. Like we read your work with John Michael Straczynski and Olivier Coipel on Thor. We also read your work with Brian Michael Bendis and Lionel Yu on Secret Invasion, and then the other arc, Siege. So you, like working on these, do you like, oh my God, this is going to be like a multiple printing thing, this is going to be a game changer,
well, you never know. When you get on it, you don't really know if it's going to do that or not. I mean, with Secret Invasion, yeah, you kind of figured that it's going to sell a bunch, but you kind of don't know. I mean, when I was working on Thor, it was like Thor had been canceled like 4 or 5 times before. This is a relaunch, so maybe it would work, maybe it wouldn't work. But you just go with it and try and do as good a job as you can, and hope the talent that you're working with can elevate the book. And at the time, I mean, I think Olivier Coipel is one of the best pencilers ever in comics. I mean, you can look at the artwork there; he's amazing. So, I mean, just getting the pencils in was like, okay, this is gonna at least. It may not sell, it may not read well, but it's certainly going to look good. Because we also have Laura Martin coloring it too.
Oh, so, absolutely! What a dream team! And even I think there was only like 1 or 2 issues in like the first 12. That was, I think, Marco
Djurjevic.
Thank you. I can never get that right.
Yeah, I don't even know if I got it right. I'm just going. I think that's right.
No, exactly.
Can we call you at some point in time and just ask your everyone's name?
Well,
years ago in the old Marvel comics, they had a thing in like one of the bullpen bulletins where they gave everybody the pronunciation of everyone's name. It was very helpful because Bill Sienkiewicz is hard to say.
Right. But like what was it? One image that I definitely want to bring up, Leo, if you have a minute, was I think it's like in the second issue when Asgard is returned to Earth, and just the visual alone.
I mean, the floating city.
Yeah, and it just says Asgard. It is just just rereading it. I was like, wow, this is like just looking at that, like oh my gosh, like when you're doing something like that, what's going through your mind? It's like, wow, I've got to really make this pop. Do you
first thing, not to screw it up, and then you go from there. Once you get over to the not screwing it up part, you have to make sure you don't screw it up. That's the first thing, and then it's just everything with inking is basically trying to create an illusion of depth. So, like with the Thor figure in the very foreground, you try to give it a little bit more pop, so that the city shows up and it recedes into the background. And you set it up, especially when you have a really good colorist like Laura, she can really help sell it. So that really, I mean, that you could look like you could walk into that panel. Actually, the way it's set up.
I just imagine that somebody's background or like that's their phone screen, just because it's just breathtaking.
Yeah, it's a good looking book. It's looking back at it, it's a really good looking book.
Well, yeah,
the back set is so sharp, and sorry, Drew, I keep interrupting you. I'm terrible at this.
You're fine. This is exciting.
Like you were saying with the Thor and like where he's standing, it's so sharp, but the city has these nice soft tones and the erosion and stuff going on towards the top, kind of. And I'm just fangirling. So, but it's cool. Just I like is it hard to do different stuff at the same time? Like to get, okay, this is going to be really harsh, and this here I'll just blend it a little bit.
Well, like on the top part here, there's like in the very far background with the buildings where you see like it's going into black. You really try to fade it out with like some cross hatching to like indicate that it's like the way the light's hitting it is sort of fading away. And then, like I said, we had Laura Martin coloring it, who is one of the best. So she took it from there and then added the tones and made it really pop.
Absolutely. And then
basically the idea is when you're inking it to make it look as good as possible in black and white, so it's colorist proof. But if you have a good colorist, they can really elevate it to the next level.
Absolutely. And then, like you said, Laura is just truly one of the best. I mean, everything she does is. and then it's funny because, like you said, you have moments like this, and then you have other moments, which, Leo, if you could bring up the next one, the famous where we learn what Asgard does with their bathroom, you know, just this what the script, and then again, it's just so subtle, the reactions and whatnot, because again, I could see some people just being so hard and getting the detail that you lose like the softness and the humor and the expression, but you're just encouraging what's already there in an already hilarious moment.
One of the reasons I think Olivier is one of the best pencilers in comics is that, well, he started in animation. He worked on DreamWorks back in the 90s, like for there was this Moses thing, it was like Prince of Egypt or something was called. So comes and he's from Europe, so he has like a weird animation meets European comics meets American comic sensibility. I mean, if you look at the faces of these characters, they're almost like little animated characters, just the push and pull of the faces, and everything mixed with the superheroic Jack Kirby type stuff that he does with Thor. So it really is an odd but appealing mix.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, even the next one, Leo, which just you saying that now, things like this, which looking back on it, have a very animated feel of motion. These are
like storyboards for a cartoon right here. This scene,
Absolutely. I mean, and again, it's all it is. It's just an admirer trying to get what he admires, these, token of affection, and it goes a little wrong, but he still doesn't lose the girl. But it's so honest. And then again, it's what what Olivier did, and then what you and Laura did is just you need the focus.
Sell it. We try to sell it. Yeah.
Versus
try to sell what he's doing, because I mean, like, if you even look at like the first panel, this is the body language of the character when the stuff goes down. You can see his whole body slumping or whatever. So it's just taking what's there and trying to build on it and make it better.
Yeah, totally.
The shadowing on the final panel on the bottom of his leg and especially on his hand, even without the rest of the motion going, if you didn't have that, it wouldn't show nearly as much. And it's just those subtle little things that that really makes it so much more in depth than if you didn't, if his hand was just all the same color, it wouldn't.
Yep. And then
even
Leo,
having the lines and the, it's just.
Yeah, Leo, if you could show the next one.
And
then you have something like this, which is just wow.
Straight out of Conan.
Yeah, seriously, that is just straight out of that. But like I've said, Leo, did you have anything you wanted to contribute? I'm sorry, I didn't want to, we talk and not include you, big guy.
No. You're all good.
Yeah. So you okay. Yeah, fair enough. But like I said, I mean, the whole thing was just absolutely fantastic. Just reading it, like you said, and I'm coming into this when I first picked up the book. I probably only knew of Thor. I never read it, but I read this. I was like, wow, this is great. So
yeah, I thought it was really good take on it, because it was almost like a Vertigo book meets the superhero book, because nothing really happens in the first few issues. I mean, it's just all sort of setting up the mythology again on Earth. And then, you have the Iron Man fight in the third one, and then, pockets of action, but it's not really like the typical Marvel, punch him up every month type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It seemed like there were certain parts of the book. Did they take like aspects of this for the movie? Because it seemed like
bits of it.
Well, especially Leo, the hammer falling too, and whatnot, that was directly taken from this, and that's why in the first movie, the first person who finds the hammer and tries to lift it, that was John Michael Straczynski. He's the yeah. So that was their Kenneth Branagh's kind of tribute to, like, hey, this is you doing that thing. So
yeah,
I mean,
I think you guys said it all though. The artwork is just amazing in it. I mean, the story's good too.
Thank you.
You guys bring it to life.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
And then speaking of, another story that again just elevated thing. I mean, you had Secret Invasion, which was a story that, I mean, talk about long game. I mean, Bendis had been building that since Secret War back in '99, and he was seeding that through multiple titles he was working on. And then finally you get the main issue, and it's got, I mean, God, I remember buying so many crossovers. And then you guys had stuff, and the book was just full of just big splash panels. No pun intended.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It's like every character in the Marvel universe at some point was there. So yeah.
Pretty much. So in terms of like the difference, like, inking Olivier to Lionel Yu, again, a titan in the industry, like, how did you approach that? I mean, there's so much there.
Well, with Lionel, I had worked with him a few years earlier on the X-Men, with Chris Claremont. That was like right around the year 2000. We did about maybe 8 or 9 issue run, but it really wasn't well received. And it was right before Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely took over, and they relaunched it as the new X-Men. So I'd been familiar working with his stuff, and then he went off to DC for a while. And when he came back to Marvel, he was they were basically just digitally coloring his pencils. There was no inker on his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So a collector had bought a cover from him and asked me to ink it, as a commission. So I did, and I was at the Marvel offices making a photocopy of it. And one of the editors saw what I was, making a copy, and he saw it, and he was like, "Oh, can I take a look? Can I take this to this other office?" He took it to another office, Tom Brevoort's office. They saw it, and I guess they were looking for an inker for the book. Because the stuff that he was doing straight from the pencils, it looked cool. It was very moody, but they wanted this one to be more like a popcorn summer adventure thing with like brighter colors and, very sharp in detail. So they asked if I wanted to do it. And when they explained what it was, I was absolutely happy to do it, because that was one of those that you knew would be a bestseller, actually. But I also knew it would be a lot of work because, like I said, some of the pages in this thing were great. There's like a double page spread that had 700 characters on it, and we really kind of hit all of our deadlines, and I don't think we missed the deadline. So it was 8 months of torture, but it came out really well.
Absolutely. I mean, Leo, if you wouldn't mind bringing up the second one, which I think is even crazier than the first. This is, I think, like issue 6 or 7 of Secret Invasion, and shit is just going fucking nuts.
That one I have that one hanging up downstairs. Actually, that's a lot, and that's like it was worse than that. So
yeah, I like literally, I was like, "There's no way he did ink that in one afternoon." That is that's a bring meal.
It was a long 2 days. It was a long 2 days.
I can imagine. Just bring meals, slide them under the door, make sure I'm hydrated. Just remind me. Go outside.
On one of the issues, we were my fiance at the time, my wife now. We were going on a trip to New Orleans, so I was up at 3 a.m. trying to get some of these pages done just to get onto the plane at 5 because it was running that late. But yeah, it was a lot, but came out okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just rereading it. I was like, man, this thing is crazy. Still,
yeah. I wish the TV show could have worked, but it would never have worked. Well, like you said, they were seeding this throughout the comic books for 4 or 5 years before it ever hit as a comic book. So to do the TV show, I didn't think that could ever really work, and it kind of did it because it was not, you're trying to push too much into a small show, an 8-episode thing, when this is like a years-long project to get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this broke my mind. I was just like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what it did.
Yeah. And there's so many, and it's funny because when I read in 2008, I was still reading comics, but now I know so much more about the Marvel universe. So at the time I was like, who the hell are these? I'm like, oh, it's the Young Avengers. That's huge. Right. Those are big. And then, I'm finally reading, was it Secret Warriors? I'm like, oh my God, the caterpillars with Fury and his Secret Warriors. I'm like, oh my God, this so much is in this book. And there was so many big panel. Like I got one that I'm sorry I didn't get was the one where Janet has passed away. Again, everybody, I'm sorry, I can't say spoilers.
Spoiler.
So you know, and
But
Janet,
she's alive again, so what's the difference?
yeah, and everyone's coming after Varenki, and they just got that we're gonna fuck you up, and even Logan's got pointed.
Yep.
And I was just like, God, every single image in this thing pops. Like, God damn. Like,
Laniel Yu is he's one of the best, and this I think is the best thing he ever did, because I mean, how can you really top it, you know?
Oh my God, yeah. I remember because I got to meet him at New York Comic Con. I only got to meet him once, and I remember I brought the Secret Invasion, and at that time I wasn't really big on bag and boards, so it was really boring. He was really impressed. Was like, oh wow, look at this. It's got wear and tear. You really read this. Like, thank you. And I'm like, and at the time I'm not like, oh wow. And then you don't think about that because you think comics like, oh, it's got to be pristine and everything. And then we talk to people like him, well, like something like that, and then we talked like Mark Waid. They were always like, yeah, we love seeing the book worn. We love knowing you read it and loved it and whatnot.
Well, the typical comic, the older comics that were like the Chris Claremont stuff was much more wordy, and you maybe take you 15, 20, 30 minutes to read it. A lot of the comics these days, because of decompression, you can read in 5 minutes, but we're putting our life onto these pages. So the people are sitting there and actually going over and looking at it and catching all the little details. I mean, if you look at this page here, I mean, there's a Galactus scroll in the background. There's there's all sorts of little things there that you have to really pay attention to see. So when somebody brings up a copy, that means they've really been looking at it, and it makes it worthwhile.
I mean, trust me, my brain's like trying to do like a Where's Waldo of the thing, and I think I'm getting cross-eyed. Leo, can we change the image? God,
my brain's just broken that you weren't using bags and backers like.
You buy the reading copy, and then you buy the other copy.
Exactly.
Yeah, Mark, that's a great plan. I'm economically challenged, so I just go with but then, like I said, then you had Secret Invasion, and then you had Dark Reign, which was also great, and then you had Siege, which is 4 issues of just magic, absolute chaos. Like this, I still remember when I read this book. I think this is like book 2 or 3 when shit's really hitting, and the Sentry is just going off, and he just. Like he's fighting Ares, he just rips him in half, and I'm just like, "Yo, what the mother?" And it's not just off screen, like he's dead. Like, see that? I was like, man, inking that must have been what a thing, and especially because
that was an interesting one. That was an interesting one because I usually before I work on the book, I get the script, and I came to this page and was like, "Huh, that would be interesting to see how Olivier shows this." And then he sent in the pencil, and I was like. Blood and guts like I've never seen in a Marvel comic before, because you don't really see that. So I was like, all right, I'll link it. I'm sure they're gonna do something to change it or darken it or make it whatever. And at no step did they stop us. I mean, when Laura colored it, she colored it like this, and it was one of those deals that when it came out, I went to the comic book store that day, and I just kind of camped myself near the book. Because it was basically 10 different people had the same reaction. Because you know what everybody does. They go to a comic book store and they flip through the book. And people were flipping through the book. It's like, holy crap, what's that? Every single person said that. So it was like, I knew we had him then.
Right, yeah. And then again, 4 issues.
It's so unexpected. It's so unexpected to have that happen.
And then, but the other thing that is like, you got, like, you're the people you collaborate, you get to ink, like, big moments like this. Whether it's the giant battle scene or even like the small funny moments, you know what I mean? It's just like what a great, like I'm just envious of you in terms of, like, I know it's a job, but man, like just being able to do that, it must be just the coolest thing. You're like, wow, this is really fucking cool.
I mean, as I said before, it's like if you look at the whole history of Marvel Comics, like a wall. Like I get to put a little brick in the wall I contributed to, so it's great.
But I mean, like I said, 4 issues. You guys did so much, and I honestly have to say this. I think this is probably one of the happiest endings to a Marvel comic I've ever read. And I really think I was like, wow, we dealt with a lot of darkness. Like, we're on
Yeah,
to the heroic
well,
age. Things are going to be.
it was well thought out. I mean, because they had from Civil War on, they had like 6 years of just ridiculous things happening. Norman Osborn became basically the president. And all sort of crap happened. So it had to have a happy ending of some sort, because otherwise, I can't imagine getting darker than this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I was just like, just rereading it, I was like, wow, look at this nice ending. Everyone's all good, and end with that nice little one pager. I'm like, wow, nice.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking back on it now. I'm like, and I know what's coming. And I'm like, oh boy,
it's comics. It can never end happily.
Nope.
So,
nope.
So
Go,
what's
Carrie.
the deal with Norman Osborn's hair, really? Like,
All right, Leah,
it's become this.
We're good.
It's become this thing.
There's actually a thing that my son and I were watching the Spider-Man cartoon that's on Disney Plus right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really good. So that actually started a whole conversation here. So he was like, "What's up with the hair too?" So I had to research it, and it seems like Steve Ditko had a couple of old actors in mind that had really wavy hair, and it just sort of the way he drew it came out with that weird pattern. But he was basing it on like some 40s or 50s actors. So you can look it up on Google. It's the photo you get of the people that he based it on. You can sort of see it.
Wow. Okay. Because
I've never gotten an answer for that, so thank you. That's
I'm here to help.
Well, I mean, because it's funny, Carrie, you bring that up, because I know that certain people draw certain characters a certain way. Like I know the great Mike Deodato.
You drew him as like Tommy Lee Jones, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah. His Norman Osborn is essentially Tommy Lee Jones with like cornrows.
There, yeah.
And it's
the wave
like
cap, yeah.
Thing, because you're just like, and they've commented. It was like him and Harry, like, what Irish cornrow Brillo hat is this? Like,
well, if nothing else, it's his son. There's no doubt that Harry's his son.
There's no other way to. But yeah, Carrie, it's just
before
those early Marvel things that somehow still has remained.
Yeah, like
because
J. Jonah Jameson.
Every artist that took over after had to keep that hair just because it's so identifiable,
Yeah, JJJ is the same no matter who is drawing him throughout the entire. You cannot look at that man and not know that is J. Jonah Jameson. You're just like.
I mean, a lot of times the first take is the best take. I mean, Spider-Man in particular, all the characters that Ditko created, they've done variations on Mysterio and Electro, or whatever, but Dr. Octopus, but the original version is still the best version, and they always come back to it because it's the best one.
So I'm going on. Okay, so you're incredibly versatile in the different styles that you use. Like you're mentioning, doing the cross-hatching, doing some just big ink sections, and I don't speak inker terms, so I'm not doing this very well. But like you can do the very fine details as well as the very broad strokes and do all of that. And you work with different materials. And you adapt to whoever you're working with. But What is your personal favorite inking style and ways to go about doing things? Or I don't know if it would be with a particular artist and it's their style, or just a style in general that you like to work with.
I actually have some examples for you. I can show you.
Awesome. Okay, Leo, zoom.
One of the guys that I'm working with right now, what we've been working with over the last couple of years, is Ed McGuinness. About him. So wonderful. I think he might have the perfect comic book style for right now. Like, here's a page from I don't know if you can see it. From Heroes Reborn.
Nice.
Oh wow.
So I mean, it's the genius of Ed stuff is that it's cartoony, it's energetic, it's detailed, but not like overly crazily detailed, because he knows how to spot blacks really well to make to go around the form and everything and make it pop. But it's detailed enough that it feels like you're not getting cheated, So you get stuff like that, or like this one here. This was an Avengers cover. So it's like,
Wow.
it's got the detail that the people like these days, but it's not overly crazily done, you know?
Right.
Oh,
Nice. Yeah.
gorgeous.
So there's that. And then, you know, but really, it all depends. I mean, on some things you want to work with guys that have a lot of detail here too, because that looks cool too. Like I worked with Jim Chung a lot, who Young Avengers guy Jim Chung, and we did this book called Infinity. And here's one where Thor is beating up Thanos.
Oh, absolutely. Look at that. Yeah.
And I mean, Jim will add every single bit of detail that you can have, and it's effective. I mean, it's more time consuming, certainly, but it's very effective.
Oh, absolutely.
You know? And then you go from that extreme to like, if I can find one of the pages here, Ryan Otley, who did an Invincible page we worked on, where it's much less detailed in a way. It's not like super crosshatchy, but it's certainly detailed with all the blood and guts coming out of there.
Look at that. Yeah. Very nice. Cool. Wow. Oh,
I'm so glad you had your portfolio sitting there.
Thank you, Mark, for sharing all this. This is awesome. We love seeing deets like this.
So it all depends. It all depends.
Well, yeah.
I mean, basically my job is just to take whatever's there and just make it look as good as possible. So, yeah.
You do great. And especially you've collaborated a lot with Ed. I mean, I remember, I think you were working with him when he was doing Superman Batman.
Nope, that was Extra Vines. I started with Ed when he was at Marvel. First thing we did was Spider-Man Deadpool, actually.
Right. Okay. I'm sorry. I got that confused.
And then we did a bit of the Avengers for a while.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Great work.
Yes. And then
if you would like to house that page somewhere, Jar Jar Jeremy here can get you his address so that you can get it. And also Thanatos looks beautiful.
And people can just draw muscle to be so brolic, like Ed.
Yeah, Ed is amazing. I mean, he makes him look like the coolest toy version of the character. You know.
Mm-hmm.
This is also from Heroes Reborn.
Yeah, and then with the kind of Ditko-y energy loops. You know?
Yeah, he's a mix between like a Saturday morning cartoon and Jack Kirby in a weird way.
Absolutely. Oh, that's good. Yeah, absolutely. But no, and then Ed is just like you. I mean, I've met him a bunch of times. The nicest guy, and just yeah. I mean, everyone's been so great, but
that last one reminds me of the question that. It was Chris Evans brought up to Chris Helmsworth with like, how did you get that muscle there? That one, I can't. Mine doesn't show up. Right. How do you get your muscle?
Yeah, man. Steroids. It's steroids.
I just wanted to bring up your website here, which we have in the show notes up above or down below. You're selling.
Yep. Selling mostly original pages from whatever I'm working on. I'll have an update. I'm working on a book called Weapon X-Men right now, and I'll have some pages from that soon enough, I guess.
Nice. Are these 11 by 17s or?
Yep. And like it's this is an interesting thing right here because we were talking about technology earlier. For this book, my friend Aryo Anandito is the penciler. He's in Indonesia, and because this is the Star Wars High Republic, because it was the first time that these characters had appeared anywhere, like novels, but they had appeared physically anywhere with visualization of them. That Aryo had to do a lot of corrections, because everybody had to chime in on what they wanted and what they wanted to take out and edit it. So he was doing all the pencils for this on paper originally, but there were so many corrections that he basically just started drawing everything digitally, and then I would ink them on paper. So, it's just there's so many different ways to approach it now. In the old days, you had to pencil a page, send it off to the letterer, and then they send it off to the inker. Now it's like a million different ways to do it. Skin a cat now, as they say.
Yeah, and we've heard like how the old way. I think we had Leo. I seem to recall one person we talked to had like some sort of horror where they had drawn some sort of like beautiful story and it got lost in the mail, and they had to do it again.
Yeah, was it Paul Cooperberg? No.
I think it was either Paul or Eric Larson. One of those. I just remember it was someone who'd been working in the industry a while, and it was just like this great story, and it just got lost, and they had to do it again, and it was just heartbreaking. I'm like,
it happens. It happens. I mean, when I was working with X-Men, when I was working on X-Men with Lanil Yu, I was living in the city at the time, and I had a late deadline and had to bring in some pages to Marvel. Just walk the pages into Marvel. Since I only lived like 10 blocks from there.
Right.
I went to the ATM at the bank, and I left my portfolio in the ATM vestibule there. So I walked by a block or two away, and I realized, oh my God, I left the pages there. So I had to run back, and basically this teenager had picked up the portfolio, and he's flipping through it, and I was like, dude, that's mine. I need to get the pages back. And he's like, how do I know it's yours? It's like, well, I'm willing to fight you for them, so I think they're mine. So because it would have been a thing where I would have lost my job immediately, because it was like X-Men 100 and like 10 pages were in there that could not be replaced. There were no scans of it or anything. It would literally have to be redrawn by hand. So so these things happen.
No, I know, but I'm just thinking like some of that's your. How do I know it's your portfolio? I'm sorry. What? The fact that you literally, do you want to catch these hands for some art? I'm like, yes, let's go. Like,
yeah, I mean, yours wild that way, but yeah, I think he saw that I wasn't kidding.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm just like, wow, oh my God.
So if you get a digital like sent to you of somebody's pencils that you're going to go over, how do they? I mean, like, it would be awesome, and I know this is like technological jump back, but if they could just have printers that had pencils and they detected certain, that'd be too difficult because
the way we do it is this.
The way we do it is this.
He'll draw digitally and send me a scan of it. I will convert it into what they call blue lines, which is basically you convert the black and white into non-repro blue, so you can see it and ink it. But then when you scan it again, you can wipe out the blue, and then you're just left with the black and white. And that's being done a lot now because, like I said, so many guys are drawing digitally now. Or in this case, with Ario 2, it's like he's in Indonesia, so to ship the actual pages from Indonesia to here would take forever, and the book would never get done. I mean, it's the same thing. The first time I ever did that was with Lanil on Secret Invasion, because he lives in the Philippines, and the FedEx from the Philippines to New York is questionable at best, and it certainly would take weeks, and the book would never come out on time. So that was the first book where we kind of did it that way, where it was like I just inking the scan book,
I know that some artists actually like to leave the blue line because it gives a different kind of effect off of the page if it's there.
On the original it does, but on the actual printed page you kind of have to take it out because that would really screw up the colorist. That's like giving them an extra layer of work that no one has time for. Okay. But you can't on the original page. You can't see it though.
All right, yeah. I watch a lot of the artists doing stuff on YouTube, and they're like, "Oh, we're doing this. We're doing it with the blue penciling first, and then we'll do our ink, and then we'll do our."
Oh, well, that's something different. That's something different. Using the blue pencil to like sketch out the stuff, it's the same thing. Like you sketch it out and then you draw it and ink it, and then again when you copy it, the blue will come out. So you'll see it on the originals, but it won't be on the final production.
Okay,
it's just a way of. Because if you use the blue pencil to sketch it out, it doesn't smudge as much as like a pencil would. So if you use the wrong pencils or whatever, the whole page can get all muddy, and you look like a coal miner when you're done with it. So you kind of want to keep it as clean as possible, since that you might be giving it to somebody else to ink, and you don't want them to smudge everything you've just worked on either.
Right. I think that's something I've been curious about with the difference between the penciling, and you like brought it up. I'm like, that's where I was going. So
I'm here to help.
You're good. Good man.
So I wanted to bring up what can you tell us about the Magical?
Okay, the Magical is a book. So I go to a lot of conventions. And for years I went out to San Diego. Did a bit of Comic-Con out there, and you get a lot of people out there. And about maybe 7-8 years ago, I met a guy who became a friend of mine. This guy Todd Harris, who at the time was a storyboard artist for just various movies and stuff. Since that time, he hooked on with Marvel and pretty much has storyboarded every movie they've done since like Age of Ultron. He's done Infinity War. He's done Black Panther. He's worked on everything. And when we first, a couple of years after we first met, a friend of mine and I, my friend Abetta Lovelace, who was a writer and artist of this book that was on Webtoons called City of Walls, we came up with this story, asked if Todd wanted to draw it, and started picking away at it. I mean, it's one of those creator-owned things where, no one's getting paid at the moment when you're doing it, so you're just like the back burner project. And then COVID hit, and then, everything slowed down a bit. And Todd is also, like I said, he's blown up. He's to the point where there's a new World of Wakanda cartoon coming out in, I think it's August, from Disney Plus. He's the director of it now. So he's worked his way to that point. So like I said, we've been picking away at the book. We had enough pages to split it into two and do like 2 volumes of it. So this will be the first volume. And we figure people know Todd's name now, and we'll know it at least coming up. So we decided this is a good time to put out the book. So we'll be crowdfunding it through Zoop probably around July or June or July of this year, I think. It's basically going to be 2 issues about these 2 guys that meet in World War One, and they decide after the war to form a magic act in Europe. The thing is, one of them actually has magical powers, and then it kind of goes from there, involving Nazis and all sorts of stuff. It takes place over the span of like 20 years. So
That's really.
We think it's good. Hopefully, everybody likes it.
Yeah.
It took me a little bit to track that down, but we do a crowdfunding segment now at the end of the thing. So as soon as yours starts, I have it bookmarked to remind me or to notify me when it's going. So we'll make sure that we're plugging it for you.
I have like a QR code thing. I don't know if you can add it later or whatever. You can get on the mailing list for it, so we can alert you when it comes out.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah. We can do that.
Yeah.
You can. Yeah. If anything, you can always send it to me, and I can always make sure to forward it.
I can hold it. I can hold it up, but I don't know if it's gonna work. So
there we go. Yeah. Actually, it does if you hold it up and Leo zooms on you.
There you go. Right there.
There you go, guys.
There you go, everybody.
And you can get on the mailing list for it. Like I said, it should be coming out in around July, I think. We're putting the finishing touches on the colors right now.
Nice.
So it'll be book one of 2.
It sounds great. You've got a great crew working on it, and it looks gorgeous. Yeah. So, I mean, like we only seen a little bit, but
we're
knowing
working
who's working on it.
We're getting some covers by some famous people too, so that should help, I think.
Oh boy, famous people. What are those folk? No,
you'll see.
So,
Jeremy, you can take it when it's over. Just pause us and go click.
After the interview, we'll have it up. Don't worry, bud. We got you.
Hopefully, your friend didn't work on Avengers Doomsday. I don't know if
he can't say what he's working on, but he got a problem.
Did you hear the concept art got leaked?
Leaked, sure. Okay, yeah, I believe. I think it got leaked purposely. I think, but sure.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I'm sure the same people who leaked Deadpool did the same thing back in the day. Yeah.
It's funny how stuff get leaked when they want to build some buzz for it. It's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Those buzzwords. Yeah. So, Mark, again, you've worked in the industry for so long. I mean, you've worked with some of the greats and whatnot. But who was someone, at a con or maybe an event or whatnot that you fanboyed over? Like you were like, oh my god, like you, like it was.
It's a weird thing. I don't know if I really fanboy out. Like, I mean, I've been going to comic conventions since I'm like 8 years old, so I've kind of met just about everybody from so I don't really get that way. I mean, I guess the only one would be Bernie Wrightson. I met a million years ago, maybe 20 years ago, and I think it's the only comic book I got signed. I got a Swamp Thing #1 signed by him. Oh my! Because he's one of my favorites. But
yeah,
But yeah,
It's so funny because I'm working on it with a friend who we're working on a series of highlighting deceased comic book creators, and one of the projects is about Bernie, and it's a mini film tribute. So
yeah, he's great. He was great, and he was a super nice guy. So
yeah, absolutely. I've listened to enough interviews from people like yourself in the industry who had nothing but great things to say about him, and just
yeah,
taking
it is the weirdest thing about comics. It's like I would say, I mean, I've been doing it for 30 years now, at least. I mean, I could count on like 1.5 hands of people that aren't cool. Sort of like everybody else is kind of great,
Still,
you know. It's like, I mean, everybody has their personality things, but I mean, most everybody's nice. I mean, it's to get good at comics, you have to be an introvert, kind of, to sit home and just in a room and just drawing over and over and over again. And
right.
most times when you meet him at conventions, I mean, you might have to work a little bit to get him to open up, but most everybody's a nice guy, and you kind of both share the same interests, so you're starting off at a good point right there.
I'll agree to
Because
that.
I can geek out about art to these guys for 10 hours, and I do. So
That's awesome.
So
And with all the interviews we do, that seems to be, just a awesome aspect is, all you creators with your love for comics. I mean, very rarely do we have somebody on here that's, doing it just as a job. It's, just.
yeah, I mean, maybe the older guys, the golden age guys are doing it as a job because they couldn't get a job in comic strips that paid more or illustration. Maybe those
Right.
guys, but the ones that really stuck with it and did it for decades, you gotta have a bit of a love for it,
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not like, especially back then, it didn't pay that much. So I mean, you're doing it not for fun, but
Right.
you're not doing it to be rich either.
Absolutely.
yeah, a lot of people say that cons are like family reunions where they get
It
to
is.
hook up with all their friends. So
Yeah, it's a rolling high school reunion. Yeah.
what do you live on at cons? If there's
What do you
like, what keeps you going as you're going through your booth? You're gonna. I'm making examples because like last year at Terrificon, it was like Mark Waid lives on Diet Coke, and various people have different. And Keith Champagne never got his goddamn turkey sandwich, and he was really upset.
All right.
Well, not upset, but
Right.
sad. But it was just like so. What's at your booth? What's like? This is what keeps Mark Morales like stable and happy and content at cons. Like the treats or
Awake.
the things that somebody could like
Uh,
sneak over and hand you and be like, "It's okay, you're gonna make it. Here's the candy."
I
or
usually
here's the
bring a
Coke."
bag. I usually bring a bag of cookies with me or something to sort of keep me
Okay.
awake, because the conventions are tough, especially if it's like a really busy one. Just leaving the table might take a half an hour to even get back. So like
Sure.
New York Comic Con this last year is so ridiculously crowded that it's like if you leave the table, you're not going to be back there for an hour and a half just to get through crowds. So yeah, I usually come fortified with something, or just eat a really big breakfast or something.
Okay. All right. So just out of curiosity, these cookies, are we talking your standard chocolate chip? Are you a variety guy, or you're just like, nope,
I'm
snickerdoodle?
more of an open raisin guy.
Oh, okay.
Oatmeal raisin. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Fancy.
Okay. Yeah, everyone has like I'm a chocolate chip guy. I'm basic like that,
I
but my
can
girl
live with those two.
yeah, but it's like my girl loves snickerdoodles. So whenever Walgreens is like, we have a sale, I'm like, wholesale. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm losers, so I'm high maintenance.
Yeah, conventions are generally bad because the convention food is bad. You're usually eating at restaurants where food may or may not be great, but it's certainly fattening. It's not great for your health. Let me tell you.
You can definitely join us for pizza from Pepe's. You're more than welcome.
Having done enough conventions, I can agree with you on that, because a lot of times you don't eat. So then by the end of the day, you're like, I need something.
Yeah.
You just go and you're like, I don't care what it is. I don't care what the calories.
Yep. And if you eat the convention food, it's even worse and overpriced. So,
that's why
some people pack a lunch, but that's too much work to ask to do, really.
That's why we sneak in our snacks. We're very covert. We're covert ninja nerds. We were like, the fanny pack it out, goldfish. Let's go.
We don't need to sneak it in. We have vendor badges.
Leo, let me have
there. You
go.
We got wheelie carts of like, here, feel better, survive. I
We,
give you sugar
We
Yeah,
normally,
or no sugar with caffeine.
I say we, but it's me. I normally bring a ton of candy, and we
You
got a
do.
big bowl, and we just fill it, and just hand out candy all day.
But we have to be careful because there's always people like, oh, candy, and then what was it, that one kid? I'll never forget that.
I gotta get it from my family.
Yeah, and then he came
Taking
back,
handfuls and handfuls.
and then he
It's like he
came
had
back up a
20
third time.
people in his
He's like, Junior,
And he's still
no.
not sleeping.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, 1, 2 handfuls, fine. 3, we're not stupid. Come on.
It was Halloween for him.
Yeah.
It was
But then,
This
then we
Halloween.
get who was the woman from Deep Space Nine that kept on coming by for Skittles?
Oh, fuck. Right. Shit. Crap. I can't. Well,
I don't
wait.
know
I was like,
celebrities.
stop. Hold on. This is what you remember, despite the fact Tom Welling walked by 6 times and you missed
I
him.
wasn't gonna bring that up because that hurts so
I
bad.
wouldn't have recognized him either.
I'm a huge Tom Welling fan, and he kept
Okay,
on
but-
walking by our booth, but
Look,
staring
Mark,
at it, like
6 times, and
Yeah.
4 of those times he at the booth, and Superman just walks by, doesn't blur.
Well,
just-
that's how Clark Kent gets away with it. He
It's
can walk
true.
by and you don't know it's Superman.
You know what, Leo?
Was he wearing glasses?
Yeah. No, you didn't take the
Drew
glasses.
celebrity shames us because we'll be like, oh my God, so it's, and I'm just like, did they write something? No. Do I care? But they were the actor of this character in this thing, and I'm like,
Okay,
I didn't
you know
watch it.
Can you not embarrass me in front of our guests? Because I try to enrich their lives by pointing out the one
Yeah.
at the con, but no.
You're
Oh.
humiliating Leo, so I'm allowed to. And the kid, I gotta say,
Sounds like
this
it's
is
been
the best.
happening a long time.
Okay, so we follow Drew around because this man, like, especially 2 years ago at Terrificon, interview maniac. We had like you did like what, like 19, 20 some on your own. Like we were
It
just
was-
following him around with the camera and just shoving him water and candy wrappers. And by the end of the day, his pockets, he would just pull out like 20, 30 candy wrappers per pocket. And he was going through like 4 water bottles an hour. But that man pumped out the content, man. I'm telling you, he's
the equivalent of a nerdy no-hitter.
So
But by the day,
workhorse.
I was like, I can't stop trembling. Somebody give me a Diet Coke. It was funny. Yeah, but cons, like, I agree with you, Mark. Like, they're the greatest thing in the world, but they are not good for your diet.
Yeah.
They are. No.
Speaking of cons, so Mark, you have GalaxyCon coming up in Richmond, Virginia, and then C2E2.
Yep. And then some other ones this summer. I have like Terrificon, Baltimore, New York,
Sweet.
GalaxyCon in Raleigh, North Carolina, and a couple other ones I'm forgetting, but I'll be posting them on my social media as they get closer.
Sweet.
We're definitely gonna hit up not this year, but Baltimore. We need to hit up one year.
Yeah,
It's my favorite. It's my favorite show, actually.
I've
I
heard
hear that from a lot of people.
I've heard nothing but good
but
things.
it's a comic book show. It's like Heroes Con. It's a comic book show, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like
Yeah.
a this thing. It's not like a multimedia. It's basically comics.
Well, that's why we love Terrificon, because you know, they focus on the comics. You know.
Yeah,
I love Terrificon. I wish you could leave the casino, because once you're in there, you don't want to leave for 4 days. But you can go home. You live close by, but if you drive there, you're pretty much stuck there for 4 days.
Hi there. 4 days.
And
Hi there.
and the casino loves that, because you don't even know what time it is in there. You're stuck in there. You're paying through the nose.
Absolutely. But it's so funny because, you know, casino. So you have people who are there all the time. They're just that. And then, you know, you have the people in cosplay, and, you know, just like, you have the audacity to be like, but sometimes they're like, oh, hey, like, they're like, all right, you're at the casino. You're dressed in.
It's a lot of it's a lot of weird melding of different folks at conventions.
It's not even like, you know, like when you're out in public and people in costume and they stare. It's just like at the casino, they're like, oh, hey, guy. And you're like, oh, hey. Yeah.
But actually, that happens at a lot of conventions, though. I mean, if you're in some of the bigger convention halls, usually they can have 2 or 3 conventions going on at the same time. So a lot of times you get the weird mixes of people. Like in North Carolina, they had a Dubs convention, like the bouncy car one. They were there at the same time as Heroes Con, so those two groups were like, that was weird. And like the weirdest one I think was years ago, back in the 90s, I went to used to have a convention out in Chicago in Rosemont. Not in Chicago, like maybe they called it Chicago Comic-Con, but it was like 20 miles away. And I flew in late. My flight was delayed. I flew in late, and I'm just dying of sleep, so I'm just like dragging myself to the lobby to check in. And as I'm rubbing my eyes, I'm like, I'm taller than everybody here. They were actually having a little person convention at the hotel.
Aw.
So I
say
was
aw.
like, well, I don't think I've been drinking. So what's going on here?
Right.
I'm 5'10", but I'm like, Wilt Chamberlain towering over everybody. And let me tell you, those guys can really drink. Let me tell you, it was quite the weekend because everybody's sort of commingling in the bars and the restaurants. So it was quite the time, actually.
Oh man, that's amazing. I hope you've written down or made cliff notes about some of these stories because these just have been fantastic. Like
I have a good memory so far.
Absolutely. No, listen, you never know. You got to write those stories down because no one's ever going to believe you. Like just that, I'm like, my God, that's amazing. It's like
it was something. I mean, the next day when I went down to breakfast, and there was still a lot of little folk around. I was like, oh, okay, so I wasn't dreaming. It's good. Not crazy.
Oh. Which run do you guys think has Mark's best work in your opinion?
Oh, that's hard.
I don't know the answer.
I'm straight up gonna say there is so much goddamn work out there that I have not seen. I'm sorry I couldn't read your entire body of work, but there's a lot.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. So I think everything that I have seen I haven't been disappointed with anything that I've seen of his work.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm not saying like everything is the best, but like Secret Invasion, the jungle, or what's the fucking island? I'm like, thank you. Those are great. I loved with Thor. Issue 4 had some really great stuff going in on it with it, like when their bombing happens and there's like all this infighting and stuff going on. That was great. Those are just a couple of things that we just read over and stuff, and that was what struck me the most was like, oh wow, the way this is done in the silhouetting here and this here, really struck me. But I can't give you a best of. What do you guys think? I mean, Drew gave some examples earlier.
I've read a ton of Mark's work. I've got his John Hancock on a bunch of stuff. I'm going to default the same thing. Like, Mark, your work is just consistently fantastic in everything. I've never been like, wow, he took a day off that day. I'm going to give 50%.
There's a lot of those, but I hide them very well.
Yeah, but I was never, like, again, like, also a lot of inkers we've had, either inkers, colorists, everything, y'all are bringing your A game. And it is just great because we love comics, and there ain't nothing worse than you see somebody who's half-assing something that so that's my answer. Leo?
Yeah, no, I'm totally gonna agree. Out of what we read, I'm partial to Thor, but all of it has, it's just amazing work.
Thank you, sir.
A+ for Mark.
Yay.
Yay!
Class, bud.
Well,
We're going to assault you for autographs.
Another 30 years. I mean, what?
Speaking of your amazing work, you have you're working on X-Men right now, and
Weapon X-Men with Joe Casey and Chris Cross, actually.
Nice. And
just started on a Batman project that will be out this summer, but I really don't know much about it just yet. I just started a cover for it yesterday.
Okay.
And like I said, the Magical we're finishing up, and I'm actually working on a new creator-owned thing that we're hoping to get done by New York Comic Con this year. So We'll see. Keep it busy.
Rick wanted to know what is your Leo? Can you bring that up again? What was your favorite to draw?
To draw is probably Batman, but Batman, Spider-Man, and Daredevil are some of my favorite characters. The problem is with those characters is that they're in the city, and there's nothing I hate worse than doing buildings, and you have to do buildings there. So it's sort of why I never did a really long run on any of these books, because I would kill myself having to do buildings all day. So, but like I said, I'm doing 3 issues of Batman coming up, so we'll see.
We did get a space Batman in
Yeah.
I shouldn't.
This one is not Space Batman. This is in the heart of Gotham City, the series. So
we are not going to discuss how Batman's underwear saved him from falling through the atmosphere.
I must have missed that one. I'll have to look into
that. Happened for weeks and weeks and weeks.
I kept on busting about that. It was hilarious. Yeah, he literally, with his underwear, he was able to save himself falling from space. It was.
It's why Batman's the best character, because you can have him in a gritty crime drama. You can have him in space. You can have him fighting Ra's al Ghul in the desert without a shirt on, but somehow kill with his mask on. You can do everything with him. He's James Bond. He's everything.
He's still that.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's the best.
Totally.
I'm definitely excited to see your future project with Batman. I'll keep an eye out for it because like I said, I'm a huge Batman fan. So
he is big.
And is that, as far as is it part of the all-in thing going on, or
it's just 3 issues of Batman? That's all I can say.
Okay.
I'm not trying to push. I'm just
making
my that's what's happening right now. So there's a possibility that maybe
So
I don't think it's anything specifically like a miniseries. It's just 3 solid issues of Batman we're doing.
That's fine. Hey, listen, we look forward to all 3 of them. I'm good on questions. Leo, Carrie, did you have anything to ask? Because I know we're coming near the end. So
I have the ones I normally ask at the end, Carrie. Before I do, anything else?
No, I'm good. I drilled him on media types that he uses. Blues. I hit all the tech questions I have, and then the fun things as well. So
there's one thing we'll say.
I'll be raising cookies.
Yeah. I will not apologize, but gratefully say, sorry, not sorry for love bombing you on your Blue Sky promoting this show.
I noticed that. Yeah, I saw those.
Yeah. I was just every day. Every day, I was just
something to read between the political posts. Yeah,
I was just every day, and I was each time I was I want to make sure it's something different instead of cut, copy, paste, repost. I
think your power's going out. The show's over.
Yeah, I'm in a blizzard, so guys, if I get stuck, you're not going to get the crowdfunder stuff until Saturday, but we'll get there.
Don't worry, Carrie. All right. So, Leo, ask the questions.
Yeah. So, Mark, when you're not working on comics, what do you geek out about? What do you dork out about? Do you?
When am I not working on comics? When am I not working?
I know it's slim times, but I mean, what do you do to decompress? Do you put on, a favorite movie? Do you, play video games? What do you do?
No video games. My son, that's my son's thing. Collect original artwork. Trying to get some pieces by artists that I like. Watching movies and stuff. I mean, it's a weird job. I mean, I'm here. The drawing, my living room is my studio. So basically, my family's in there, in and out all day, and I'll say I'm at the drawing room table 8 to 10 hours a day, every day, but it's broken up with going off and do something and come. So it's I'm watching TV's on while I'm working. If I'm really working and concentrating, I can listen to documentaries or podcasts or whatever. If it's something that I'm just filling in blanks, I can watch a movie with my wife or whatever. But there's not much time for anything else. It's a lifestyle, I guess.
Fair enough.
Do kids know we do not touch what is on this work table?
He does now. I mean, there was a years ago there was an Avengers page that I inked over Ed, and he decided to come in and help color. So he
Oh,
colored
fine.
in the face and the mask, and I caught him before he got any further. And yeah, that was not great. But he doesn't do that anymore.
Leo, Carrie, that reminds me. Remember Riley Brown had a similar situation with his kid?
Yeah.
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 I
The
remember
good thing is
Mike
he doesn't
Choi
really, he
showing
doesn't
us
really
all of
care.
his original art that his kid put stickers on. It was like,
Yeah.
The good thing is that my son doesn't really care about it all that much. I mean, he'll play the Spider-Man video games and watch the cartoons, but he doesn't really care about comic books so much. So thankfully, that
so he
saves
doesn't
a
know
lot of
like how
problems.
exceptionally cool Dad is.
He doesn't care because he's been coming to these conventions with me since he's like 2 months old. So it's like he's second nature to him. He's just there to buy video games. A couple of years ago, one of his teachers in like fourth grade, she found out what I did for a living, and she dragged me in there to give a demonstration to the class. That was the day he was into it because I was making him cool by osmosis. He cared then, but otherwise,
Yeah. That was just Dad. It's like Dad's cool. I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
Dad's cool. I'm top dog now. You know, the
Yeah.
second that fades, it's like, nope, just Dad.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Fair enough. Well, maintain course. Do your thing, man. Well,
I will do that.
Mark, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate this. This was fantastic. And
Thank you
good
for
luck.
having me.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Good luck to all the cons that you got coming up. We look forward to seeing you at Terrific Con this year. And before you go, what's some of the best way people can interact with you, follow you, and such platforms and stuff?
I'm on all the social medias. It's Mark_Morales11. Yahoo. At Twitter or Instagram or Blue Sky at the moment. And Twitter,
still
we'll
on
see how long
Yahoo,
that
aren't you?
lasts. That's the email. I'm never changing it. I have like 35,000 emails from there. I'm that guy. So
I do too. I like some of my accounts. I'm like, where the fuck did my Yahoo?
Yeah.
It's
It's crazy how many...
in the old days they were saying you had to delete them because of storage limits, but there's no storage limits. So who cares?
Part of my day job is I work in email, and it's just amazing how many people still have like AOL emails and Yahoo emails and
Mm-hmm. It's like people will mock my Yahoo one, but I mock the AOL ones because you should.
I still have my MySpace account. I haven't updated it for a decade, but
it might not still be there.
No, it's still there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it belongs in the museum.
Thank you guys for having me. Maybe you'll have me back. I have other stuff
Totally.
later this year, I'm sure. So.
Always welcome to come back, Mark. Thank you so much. And yeah, man, just have a good rest of the night.
If you want us to promote anything too.
Yeah.
Yep, I will let you know. Like I said, I have a new one coming out that'll be around New York Comic Con-ish time. So
okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Cover it. So.
All right, man. Good night to everybody.
Have a good night.
All right.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you so much.
Drew, you can't sleep. No.
No sleeping.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I thought Carrie had left.
The rest
and we
of
were
the show.
Just real quick about AOL. My last job, which has to be about 7 years now. My boss had an AOL. Like he actually used AOL. It was crazy. And like he would always leave his speakers on max. So I'd be working and all of a sudden I hear like full volume, "You've got mail." I'd shout over the wall, "Holy crap, I time traveled again.
I got mail." So exciting.
That's horrible. I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
No, So, let's hold on a second. What's going on here? But I think Carrie, because there's a chance you might be gone any second, I think we should just write to the news and be with us as long as you can, young lady.
Okay, we can end with Variant Watch after I do news and then the crowdfunding stuff. I'll end with Variant Watch. Do it that way?
Yeah, we just do Variant Watch and then news and then whatever. Whatever works.
Let's just do it the normal way. Things haven't flickered for a little bit, so.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's wrap through this.
All right.
Okay. Okay, Drew, you're up.
I'm ready. Let's go. All right. So, everybody, one of the current mysteries right now is who is the new Venom. So, Al Ewing and Carlos Gomez is essentially going to unmask that soon with all new Venom issue 5. So, this highly anticipated issue is going to have 4 suspect variants by the iconic Clayton Crane that are spotlighting our prime suspects. So, we're going to have Luke Cage, Madam Mask, Rick Jones, and Robbie Robertson. So, and of course, each issue will have who it is. So there's absolutely no way that you could think it is anyone else. So you have there we have Robbie Robertson, Madam Mask,
That one looks so weird.
Rick Jones, Luke Cage, and yeah. So each issue is going to also have a special spoiler variant cover by Martin Colocolo, which will remain classified until the issue's release. So my money is on Luke Cage. I just need to say that.
Well, I mean, if Madame Mask wasn't the same body shape as everybody else, it would be like, I thought they would at least make it feminine or not Captain America muscle size, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So, but that's it. So, yep. So if you're reading the book, issue 5, we're going to find out who the new Venom is. So check it out.
Okay.
look, it's got crazy eyes.
Yeah.
All right. So there's only one more variant story, and it's actually a return for a notable character. Marvel released that former editor-in-chief Joe Quesada will return to do a variant cover for Phoenix issue 11, featuring Jean Grey in her iconic Marvel Girl costume. So this issue also kicks off a new arc from writer Stephanie Phillips. Carrie, you'll remember your BFF from Terrificon last year. We'll be joined by artist Roy Mercado, reuniting Jean with a long-lost love in a startling resurrection, which will apparently throw everything Jean knows about her cosmic powers into question. So this is going to be released May 14th, 2025. That variant cover looks fantastic. Absolutely. So I say fans of Marvel Girl / Jean Grey might want to keep an eye out on this one.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like how she's like somewhat proportionate as well. Like we just had Martin Raleigh's on for inkers, but the ink and the black and everything is done so well on there. I'm like pointing and nobody can see what I'm pointing at. But she looks human instead of, there are some comic book characters that are like, I have a 10-inch waist and a 32-inch bust, but she has like she is svelte yet still human.
I think for me, Carrie, I'm just loving the background. I just feel that's what's really drawing me in. I mean, the image is fantastic and very, but the patterns and the tiles, that's just especially drawing in terms of detail. So
it feels like a tarot card almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Say that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got that feel to it. Yeah. So, but
it would be cool to see more of those.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We will see.
So if it was, what card would this be?
The Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
She would be the sun.
Nicely done, Carrie. Well done.
Gotcha.
Nicely.
I'm
All
your
right.
witchy one. So
Yeah, that's pretty much it on Variant Watch, everybody. So short week. So you know what? Hold on.
It's
Leo, it's time.
Drew's News. Exciting tales, fresh comic views. In the pages, heroes fly, villains plot under the sky. From Gotham's dark to Metropolis views, we cover stories old and new. Drew's News, your daily source for comic clues. Join the fun, it's a heroic cruise in the world of Drew's Comic News.
Love you, Drew.
Yeah, sure. Every night, I just get through with the smell of whiskey. Okay.
You're not wearing your extra hat.
No, because I'm extra done with you.
But his
This is you.
hair's nice and styled tonight. It's very sleek. I like it.
Thank you. It's called water.
Chip, 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 chip,
All right.
chip.
Well,
Luke
I'm up first. And this is, I mean, Marvel, they're gonna like do a new #1 all the time. So we're getting a new Captain America series, and this is gonna take us back to the 1960s. So this July, Chip Zdarsky, which, as you know from Daredevil, he just did Batman. He's teaming up with artist Valerio Schiti and to launch Captain America series that takes a deeper look into his early years after being defrosted. So Zdarsky, who earned an Eisner nomination for Daredevil, he's going to be launching the series shortly after Cap was thawed from the ice, but before he joined the Avengers. So this is a story that we have not seen before, where Cap actually re-enlists into the army, and his first mission sends him to Latveria, where he will have his first encounter with Dr. Doom. So we see a young Victor Von Doom rise to power in Latveria. Steve must decide whether to adapt to a modern warfare or stay true to his own principles. And Zdarsky says, I've been a massive Captain America fan for decades. We're exploring Cap's early years in the or early days in the modern era with a twist that I think is going to really surprise readers. He also added that he's approaching the series like a Daredevil run, focusing on the human side of Steve Rogers as he navigates the new world. And we're going to see some fantastic 1960s inspired versions of the Howling Commandos. Also, Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, who will appear in the series as well. And for Cap fans, this new and unexplored chapter between the golden age of Avengers era should offer fresh insights into the character we all know and love. The official description is, while Captain America slumbered in ice, the world changed. For better or for worse, he awakens to a reality where battles are fought in the shadows through the secrets and subterfuge, and villains aren't so easy to identify. When a fledgling dictator named Victor Von Doom conquers Latveria, Steve faces a critical decision: adapt to a new kind of warfare or forge his own path. And what will be his choice that makes his past mean for his future? Captain America #1 comes out July 2nd. And so we do have this promo art by Schiti. And then we also see the suit designs. And on the right is a new stealth suit for Captain America.
Ooh, okay.
And then we get a look at the Howling Commandos. And we also see Ross and Stark and Reed as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure. Where is Reed from?
It's definitely something fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a spaceship that somebody stole once.
I think
And there were
four-
some shielding issues.
Yeah,
There were 4 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
There were some cosmic rays. They crashed. It's fucking fantastic, Leo.
But
I feel bad that you missed it.
it's true, but I will say it does have a foreboding sense of doom. You know,
It does.
Well said. Well said. And I just wanted to bring that up before you guys.
That's the thing.
Grab it, own it. It's good.
Yep. Exactly.
It's definitely not something that you wouldn't see as if it's invisible, and it's definitely something that burns very bright, almost like someone left a flame on. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear there's a thing also.
Yep. Nope, already made that joke. Sorry, missed it.
There is a thing.
Yep.
You gotta.
All right.
Is he the hand from? The hand. It's Adam's family, right?
This one would rather do some clobbering than some crawling.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
But he can leap up and okay.
Nope. Move on. The joke is done. You guys killed it.
All
Move
right.
on.
Okay. I need this for this because Jesus Christ, am I excited?
Go for it, Carrie.
Okay, so coming up on November 11th and 12th, and yes, this is a story worth getting excited about this far in advance. AWA Studios is launching its new Ultimate Oz universe, starting with a 144-page graphic novel written by Cullen Bunn and Larry King, illustrated by Mike Deodato Jr., The Lost Lands. They are working with three of the most acknowledged Oz historians in the world, Jay Duncan, Julie McNulty, and Mike Bujnak, and the team is taking a deep dive into the world of Oz. They're being very sticklerish about remaining true to the heart of L. Frank Baum's work and making sure every detail is included while showcasing some of the lesser known characters and stories. Something exceptionally cool about this is that there are going to be QR codes included in the graphic novels that will link to other things like video footnotes, commentary, maps, original music, and other bonus features the creative team, along with Duncan, McNulty, and Bushnak, have created. It's currently available for pre-order already for $19.99. I mean,
Oh wow.
dude.
Wow.
Yeah, look how gorgeous this is. 144 pages of that with all of the bonuses for $20.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a couple of quotes here because I want to be able to say what they said exactly. This is not fan fiction, says AWA Chief Creative Officer Axel Alonso in a statement accompanying the announcement. This is the first of many meticulously researched and canon faithful stories that show you Oz like you've never seen before. Beginning with The Lost Lands, we're transporting readers back to the Emerald City and then way beyond for an adventure that reunites fan favorite characters and introduces a variety of new faces that fans might not know. Expect heroes, villains, powerful artifacts, exotic locations, and mind-blowing transformation. Per Simon & Schuster, who are putting this out, in this captivating first volume, Tip embarks on a transformative journey through the land of Oz, uncovering the truth about his origins and the magic within him. As he sets out on a wild adventure, he encounters both familiar faces like the Tin Woodsman and new characters and locations like H.M. Wogglebug T.E., which stands for Highly Magnified and Thoroughly Educated, and Fiddlestick Forest. Through thrilling twists and unexpected revelations, Tip unravels the mystery of his birth and discovers his true identity and destiny. Steeped in rich lore and imaginative storytelling, this reimagined Oz adventure expands the universe L. Frank Baum created, blending nostalgia with fresh perspectives for fantasy lovers and longtime Oz fans alike. Basically, the first book is going to be somewhat of a recounting of Baum's second book in the 14 of the books here of the Oz series, The Marvelous Land of Oz, which is where Tip, you'll find Mombi is involved in this as well. It's a great series, but they just have I'm just overwhelmed. They have a gorgeous, gorgeous background. Cullen is all about making sure everything's exactly right. You know, they're following everything. I'm a huge Oz fan, guys. And then you're grabbing some of my favorite like artists and some of my favorite writers to pull it all together. There's no way I'm not going to go nuts over this. So,
Absolutely.
like I said, it's available for pre-order right now. You can go to any of your various places that you want to buy online for books and trade paperbacks. $20. And you know, it's coming out late November. My birthday is Halloween. If anybody feels like buying me one, just I'll send, you know, something like that. But yeah, so that's what I got going on here. And oh, Angel would like to say a fantastic and a really good team of 3 people and a pet rock. Angel,
Ah,
we love you.
thank you. Who's the Brock?
And who's the rock? I want to rock. I
Brock.
want 2 rocks.
Okay.
Okay,
We
next. We're almost to the thing.
yeah, Carrie, we got to roll.
Last business.
Um,
Yep, sorry.
all right. No, it's okay. So this is me. This is the last story for news, and then we're going to jump to Carrie's Kickstarters, where we still have power. Announced recently, Marvel's greatest cosmic hero, Norrin Rad, aka the Silver Surfer, headlines a new epic story with Death of the Silver Surfer, written by Greg Pak and drawn by Sumit Kumar. This is going to be a 5-issue limited series promising a tragic fate for the cosmic rider. As a new enemy that even the power cosmic can overcome rises. This new rival will stop at nothing to crush the Sentinel of the Spaceways and his allies, the Fantastic Four. But their battle will come at a cost, for what ancient secrets lie in the shadows of the Silver Surfer's past? Are they secrets known only to Galactus? So, essentially, the synopsis is that he returns to defend a war-ravaged Earth, but he has a galaxy-sized target on his back, facing a threat capable of stealing away everything he is or ever will be. A single human may decide his salvation or damnation. And then, of course, the question, if he falls, who will then wield the power cosmic? So, as we've seen with some of the issues, the original is Dike Ruan. The other variant will be Joe Quesada. We have a foil variant by Rob Leem. We have a variant cover by Nick Bradshaw, another variant by Trad Moore, and of course, there's a hidden gem variant by John Romita Jr. This will be on sale June 11th. So
Nice.
absolutely, just a lot of great stuff here. The variant cover is fantastic.
Which one's the foil?
Go back. That one.
This one?
Yes.
Oh, the Rob Leem.
That is.
Okay.
Nice.
It seems like an odd one to me to be foil because some of the others look more metallic, but
yeah, but this
they can
reminds me
do
a little bit like the Silver Surfer number 50, the one that kicked off like the 90s crash.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
well,
where they did the foil.
You know, I wondered why that looked familiar.
This has the blue lines that I was thinking, like what we were talking about earlier, but it's not the same thing. When we were talking to Mark, but yeah.
I'm gonna have to pick that up.
But yeah, so that's everything for the news. So stay tuned because Carrie is going to tell you why to shut up and take your money.
Yes. All right. I am ready to tell you guys about some crowdfunding projects that you should get involved with, and support. Shut up, take our money and run. I believe something like that is what we're doing with this. Lee, if you can open up first, the Artists for LA. All right. This is put out by AWA Studios. Yes, the same ones that are doing the Oz books. This is a fundraiser to support victims of the LA fires. It's going to run until, at this point, March 31st. So there's another 27 days. And they currently have collected 6,600-ish of 10,000 they're looking for. This is on Zoop. So go to Zoop and look for Artists for LA. It's uniting top creators to support victims of the devastating Los Angeles fires, spearheaded by AWA Studios. This initiative features original artwork donations from renowned artists like Bill Sienkiewicz, Dennis Cohen, Allison Sampson, Mike Deodato Jr., and many more. All proceeds from the sales of these unique pieces will directly aid relief efforts through donations to the California Fire Foundation Wildlife and Disaster Relief Fund and the California Community Foundation Wildfire Recovery Fund, helping rebuild lives and communities impacted by the disaster. Initially, you can do with this recovery fund on the right, either $10 or $100 donations directly to them there. If you go to the next one for me, Leo, for $2,000, this is one of one, you can get a flawed number 3 cover B, the inked cover and the sketch art by Dennis Cohen. Yeah. Next, we have a couple of, okay, hold this one here. For $1,000 each, these are 11 by 17 Bill Sienkiewicz pages. The first is inked over Klaus Johnson. It's the Daredevil. It's from Daredevil End of Days. The one on the
Okay.
right is inked over Dennis Cohen from Detective Comics. If you go over to the next one, on the left, we have Bill inked over Dennis Cohen in Green Arrow. And on the right is inked over Tom Derenick in the Web Hangman Story.
Okay.
So those are each 1,000.
And they're
We're
all
gonna drop.
one-on-one?
Yep, they're all one-on-one.
Okay.
So you're getting the original art there.
Wow.
Next over, they're pulling out from their own archives. These are each for $500. On left, we have the Donald Duck Artist Proof. It's a limited edition, 1 of 10 artists proof, only sold in galleries in Asian markets. The artist proof was created, signed, and donated by Bill Morrison. On the right here, we have Afghan Star art signed by John Legend, celebrating the groundbreaking original artwork created by AWA Studios for the 2024 podcast Afghan Star on iHeartRadio, signed by host John Legend. Art created by visionary artist Raza. The print is an 18 by 27 inch poster. Only 25 prints were signed by John Legend, the host of the Afghan Star podcast. Next, going over, we're dropping down to the $50 tier. There are 5 of these. This is Frank Cho's signed print. 2 of them have been sold already. It's an exclusive 8x8 Fight Girls art print, originally only available through the 2023 Kickstarter campaign, and it is autographed. Next, we have a Mike Deodato signed print. There are 4 or 5 of these left. It's an exclusive variant cover art print, originally only available through the 2023 Kickstarter campaign. Once again, signed and numbered by Mike Deodato Jr. Next up, this one is a really good bargain, by the way, guys. There are 2 of these up for auction. They're $30 a piece. It is the entire Old Haunts trade paperback, first printing, signed by the artist Lawrence Campbell. There are 2 of those that are available. Yeah, it sells on its own for 10 to 20, so $30 to get first ed autographed. You should. If you want to throw out some money, if that's your thing, that's one you should look into. Next, we have some $20 prints. On the left, we have Dalibor Talijic and Sveta Talijic. It's Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. Wait, I'm gonna move this over. Oh, this is original art. They are known for those. This is original art that everybody is doing for this project. The first one is by Dalibor Talijic and his daughter Savita Talijic. 5 of 100 of these have been sold so far. On the right is one by Marco Finnegan, and there are only 3 of 100 of those have sold so far. Next, if we go over, there's Lacey has done True Night, and Lacey is known for Ghosted and Death Ratioed. And on the right, we don't know what the art's going to be yet, but it will be by Will Conrad. And there are only 2 of 100 of those sold so far. Will Conrad, you might know from Action Comics and Flash Gordon. So this is all the work that's tied up in this project. Go ahead, hop over, just, look for, once again, this is on Zoop, not Kickstarter, but Artists for LA by AWA Studios. Look for it on Zoop. You have a while to get it done, but they keep adding and extending the time, and they've had a lot of stuff that is sold out, but as they're selling out, they're adding more things. So there might be more stuff in the future that you get to do. So please go and check that out. It's super fun.
Yeah, you're supporting a great cause, and you're getting awesome artwork too. So
yeah, and some wonderful that you can't get anywhere else. It's
what a deal.
It's pretty awesome.
If I had the money, I'd grab that Donald Duck.
Yeah, we know, Leo.
Yeah, I mean, I'd buy it for you, but that's rent.
Leo would want you to, to live.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He would
Totally.
appreciate the generosity, but not at the expense of you living.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no,
All right.
that's
So what's the next one, Carrie?
Okay, the next one is, and I hope I'm pronouncing this all correctly, Como Termina la Canción. It's a queer fantasy one-shot comic put out by Pamela Nunes Trejo. This is a Kickstarter, and it will only be funded if it reaches its goal by Monday, March 10th at 10 a.m. So we have 6 days left for this one, guys. Basically, what goes on here is a young mariachi stumbles upon a cursed guitar given to him by a talking cat. Inside of it dwells a powerful enchanter called Mui. So this is a 93-page one-shot comic, and you can actually read this for free. The artist is totally willing to give you the links in the Kickstarter over on Webtoons and Tapas and on their own website as well. But this puts it all together, gives you a book so you can sit down and hold it and read it.
so
Como
I think
termina la con-
I think I heard this one before. So does the cat live in the guitar box with a gun?
God damn it, Leo.
It's La Mariachi, right? No?
mariachi.
No.
I'm sorry. I couldn't pass it up.
Thank you, Carrie. Just keep going. Ignore him.
Okay, so Como termina la canción is, I probably butchered that. I'm terribly sorry. How
You're
the
good.
song ends. It tells the story of Rafa, a young and spirited mariachi with a quick temper who one night, after one too many drinks and a disastrous gig, stumbles upon a talking cat. Rafa is given an enchanted or maybe cursed guitar by the talking cat. Inside of it dwells a powerful enchanter that has been sealed away, and now, thanks to Rafa, they are free, but only if they help Rafa with a wish. Together they learn that there's more to them and to life than the pain that has shaped them. This was inspired by the artist's love for the charo outfit, mariachis, and anime-style art. They sought their best to create a story that was queer and centered something unabashedly Mexican with a hint of fantasy, goofy, but also sincere at heart. What you can get with this, okay, here we go. You can get the digital download of the comic plus art book for $10. For $25, you can get just the book itself. You can get the book plus a set of stickers for $38. And some of these are just showing you the various things that go with it. There's the book and the making of the art book for $38. A signed book plus all previous rewards for $55. Retail that's just for people to pick up if you're a comic book shop. And then there is, for $95, a signed sketch and all previous tiers that includes a personalized copy with a signed sketch, a copy of the book, a set of stickers, and a print, and the making of art book. Stretch goals, currently they're looking at trying to hit $8,000. And if they do that, they will add an additional new print design to all the books. Then they're looking at $10,000 to $12,000 for future, but they haven't let us know what's going on next. So this looks like a very pretty book and a very fun book. You are able to read it online, but if you'd like to support the artist, go ahead and toss them some money, get a copy of the book that you can hold in your hand.
Mhm.
You can get it in either Spanish or English, so you're welcome there. Yeah, it's great. Next, and I believe that this is what Angel is here for. And Angel, let me know if I miss anything here. We're going to talk about Vampire Surf Cult. This is a Kickstarter, and unlike the rest of Withdrawal comic books, this is an animated series that they're working on getting their pilot out for. So, Vampire Surf Cult. Do you love cheesy horror movies, stoner humor, old surf videos, punk rock music? How about the vibe of old school Saturday morning cartoons? If you're nodding along, you are our target audience. The mission of this campaign is to tell a story that they've been working on for over 2 years now, prioritizing themes that mean a lot to them as creatives. Rich characters, mysterious villains, villains, interweaving story arcs, and fish tacos. They spent $25,000 to create a trailer and a soundtrack that gives a taste of their vision for this series, and they've taken it as far as they can go alone and now need our help on this Kickstarter campaign. The goal of this campaign is to raise money towards developing the pilot episode of Vampire Surf Cult. The more success they have in this campaign, the more animation they can produce. Every dollar is going towards producing the best pilot possible, as well as some stretch goal extras. And the more backers they have, the longer and better the first episode will be. Okay, so before you go to the next one, hold for a minute here. Okay, so Vampire Surf Cult tells the story of a human named Cody that washes up on an island of fun-loving, blood-drinking, night-surfing monsters. Cody realizes he has no recollection of his past, but slowly his memories return to him. He now needs to make a choice: return to his mortal life or escape his reality on this island of immortals. The choice is further complicated by the relationships he makes on Blood Island and the villains he faces. So up till now, you have seen pictures of the various characters of Blood Island, of some of the things that are going on. Now we're going to go to what the rewards are. So if you can go to the next one, I kind of put these all in little, these are some of the special rewards that you can get. There is the skateboard backing. This is one of the characters. You can't see what I'm pointing at. I forget about that. Anyway, there's a skateboard, there's the action figure, there's the plushie. So moving on to the next one is what I was actually thinking about. First off, we're going to start and go over. You start off with taco money. For $10 alone, you get a digital thank you card, a website shout out, and access to production updates. The Grom adds to that digital Blood Island Survival Guide PDF and early access to the pilot. The next one over is the Blood Island Survivor for $50, and that is the Grom Collection, the collectible enamel pin. Lunar Eclipsed is the Blood Island Survivor package plus Eclipsed first issue physical comic book. The Little Slugger package for $125 is the Grom package plus a slug plush. The Blood Island Local for $135 is the Blood Island Survivor package plus a limited edition Vampire Surf Cult poster and a Vampire Surf Cult logo t-shirt. The Garlic Breath for $150 is the Grom package plus the Garlic Breath skate deck and the Punk Rock. And then the Punk Rocker is $175. It is the Grom plus Survivor Cult EP vinyl record Kickstarter special edition. Then there is the Thrasher for $200, and there's the Grom package plus the Thrash vinyl toy. If you want to go to the next one, we'll get the last big ones out of the way here. So up at the top there, we have the Nosfer, dude, for $300, which is the Thrasher package, which is all those things before, plus the slug plush. The Blood Moon Surf Champion for $500, which is the Nosfer, dude, and the Garlic Breath skate deck, plus the Eclipsed first issue physical comic book. And for $1,000, you get everything. And you get your portrait as a vampire or werewolf in the VSC style. And then finally, the Chungus Bungus for $5,000. You get everything with the exception. Oh, no, wait, I was wrong. I'm on the bottom left. I didn't get to the final one yet. I lied. You get everything, plus your vampire or werewolf will be featured in a background character, and you get co-producer credits and end credits. And the final one over there on the bottom right is the batshit crazy $10,000 pledge, where you get everything else with the exception of being a character, but your producer credit is in the opening credits, and you actually get the custom Vampire surfboard that is shown there. So there's stretch goals on this. This is the last page that I had there. So For every $5,000 over their targeted goal, they're going to be able to produce another minute of animation. All money above the goal will go towards the pilot until they have enough for the entire episode. Full pilot for $50,000. To be completely transparent, the goal won't be funded with a pilot. They need a bit over that to get the entire first thing, but they're using it to bring up their indie space, amazing talent in indie space. At $55,000, they're going to include the Eclipsed comic issue number 2. At $70,000, Fang 10 is going to be a mobile game. They'll be out on various things, including the Switch. For $70,000, there will be more animation allowed. And just in case, for $600,000, the entire full season of the first season.
Mhm.
So if I'm missing anything here, but this looks badass. I had to show you guys pictures. If you actually go to it, there's a bunch of GIFs up there that show movement and motion, so you can kind of see how everything works.
Right.
And it looks really cool.
Yeah,
Agreed.
the animation looks really good. Like
Yeah.
the artwork.
Yeah, and if you there's like a 3.5 minute, almost 4 minute video of like how it's supposed to be, so you can catch some really good stuff if you go and look at it. But yeah, go check this out. It looks like it's going to be super fun. The rewards are great. I mean, like if you have for $10, there's going to be a website shout out for you. So if you're somebody who has a website that wants to get, just a thank you and a shout out and give a little bit of money and support this, you can get some stuff. Little bits and pieces here and there. You can get more mentions and things like that to help, like, you help them out, and they're going to scratch you on the back.
Right.
And it's gorgeous. It's going to go over really well.
And
Nice.
remind me again where people can find us.
That is on Kickstarter. Just look for Vampire Surf Cult on the Kickstarter website.
Easy enough to find.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is open for another 10 days until Friday, March 14th. So.
Okay. Very nice.
All right. And last but not least, we're going to pull up again because I'm going to drill this down your throats, guys. We need to get more people signed up for this. The Axel's Infernal Kickstarter is going to go up once we get a couple hundred people signed up for it. And I really, really want to get this going. I love Axel's Infernal issue 1 that I have. Axel's Infernal, it's written by D.G. Chichester and art by Carl Waller. The Underground Transportation Authority is roaring back onto pages and screens with a hot delivery just for comics readers. Sign up, get notified when number 2 is ready to launch. Be the first to know about the first 48-hour early bird discounts on comics, stickers, behind the scenes scripts, and more. They're learning their way through Kickstarter, so they're adding more benefits for you to be an early sign up. Hijacked into the trucking for the UTA. Percy delivers damnation across dimensions, plagues, monstrosities, boiling pitch, the works. But this is more than just a devil of a job. This is your chance to bring a new comic to life. Like I said, I got the first one. Yes, I'm biased. I love Dan Chichester, but this is a fabulous comic. It's going to be a full-color 24-page comic printed on 80-pound cover stock and 80-pound gloss text paper. This is a second issue in a 5-issue miniseries. And each comic is going to be bagged and boarded for you, and they're going to ship out in the Gemini mailers. So
awesome.
Get in on it. We're going to have him on soon, and he's going to do some giveaways. Yes. And also, Angel, thank you so much for sharing it with us to share for you so that we knew about it. This is super awesome, and I really hope that you guys make it there. We're going to be helping you along the way. We're rooting for you.
Awesome. And he brought up a website. What was it? vampiresurfcult.com? Was that it?
Yep. We'll put that up there for a little bit longer.
Yep. He's already there.
Awesome.
Yep.
Great work, Angel.
Is that all?
That's it for my Kickstarters for the night.
Yes. We better wrap it up. So, but Leo, I should probably hint at what we got coming up this week.
And you can't be laying down for it, Drew.
Oh, okay, fine.
Hold on.
Well, hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us on Splash Pages. Don't lay down yet because we've still got so much happening. This Saturday, we're going to have the great Dan Waters dropping by. We're going to talk about some of his projects, including the awesome work him and his collaborators are doing on Batman Dark Patterns. That'll be happening this this weekend, this Saturday. So stay tuned and keep an eye out for that. And then, excuse me, next week we will have the awesome Keith Williams will be joining us. We're going to be talking about a lot about his career and any big highlights there. So we're very pumped by that as well. So again, Saturday, Dan Waters. Next week, Keith Williams. So if you're not subscribed to Splash Pages on our YouTube, please do so because you don't want to miss out on this and other things we've got planned this month.
Awesome. Well, with that, we'll wrap things up. I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. Definitely check all the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Follow these fine people. You know how to find me, but head on over to our YouTube page. We got a lot of awesome stuff going there. And links are in the show notes, but just look for Splash Pages, on the YouTubes. Carrie.
Hey everybody, when I am not hanging out with these fine gentlemen, you can find me over on the Owlite Network, which is also part of the Dorkening. And coming up this week, I actually have oh wait, wrong week. Okay, no, I have a show on Monday. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to be doing on Sunday. On Monday, we are going to be doing the Class of Newcomb High on our Team of the Terrible show. And then coming up, though, what I would like you to know about is on the 16th, we are going to have Morgan Sylvia. I'm going to have taken away for a Clutch of Personalities episode to interview this amazing horror author. And so you'll find me Sundays and Mondays at least, generally over on the Owlite, and here's Tuesdays and now Saturdays when we have our international guests or people that just can't fit into the rest of the schedules.
Awesome.
Come hang out with me. Watch me. I write books too. Go read them.
Great book. Wonderful book. Hey, everybody. I'm Drew. When I'm not with these people who I very much enjoy, despite the fact that I act like I don't, it's all the character. I love these people. And we have such great people on every week. It's truly a real honor. But when I'm not looking exceptionally like I need a nap, you can find me on Facebook. I'm Drew Malo, Ghostbuster Man 1984, as somebody is posting right down there. I'm also on Blue Sky as well. I'm definitely involved in a lot of projects. So if you reach out, I swear I'll get to you eventually. Check me out this week when I'll be joining our good friends at Retro Reductivus, talking about, of course, Real Ghostbusters and the sequel, The Extreme Ghostbusters, which will be happening tomorrow. So definitely stay tuned for that, fans. And stay tuned for everything else planned this month and more. It's going to be fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm. I use you as my password on my bank account, by the way. Leo, you're muted. But
Sorry.
Thank you.
yeah, so now everybody knows. But you have to figure out the combination and where I actually bank.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But that's pretty much it. So catch you later.
Awesome. Just real quick, I know you mentioned Class of Newcomb High. We never took him up on his offer, but Uncle Lloyd actually invited us to his production area in New York.
Oh,
Yeah.
please hook me up with Uncle Lloyd then. Thanks, Angel.
All right. Later, everybody.